Hey, Hound Dogs, I'm David Hankins.
And I'm Paul Hankins.
And I'm Rachel.
Hey, there you go. And welcome to On the Air with Power Squared. This week, we're continuing our series of looking at the making of a comic book, one of ours. And we're working on issue 19 at the moment. Kamaitachi? Kamaitachi, sorry. I've learned how to spell it. I've learned how to pronounce it. And so we thought we would, last week we did a table read of the script. And this week we thought we would talk with Rachel about the beginning of the thumbnails that she's doing and I guess the first pages of the book.
Yeah.
So it starts, I assume this whole process starts when you actually read the script, right?
Oh, yeah. Whenever I start a new issue, I always just sit down and read the script, start from finish. And usually, since, Power Square scripts come to me like 2 to 3 issues in an arc. So I'll read through all of them at first, but this one was just one. So, it's a little shorter process reading it.
Yeah. So is there something, are you looking for something when you're reading these scripts?
I'm mostly just trying to get, obviously I want to figure out what's happening, the general feel of the issue. I knew for this one going into it that I recall listening to one of your guys' podcasts about it, and I recall Paul saying, I recall saying Paul wanted something inspired by the JoJo manga by Araki's work. So I did actually do some research. I read a little bit of the manga, just a little bit, just to get an idea of what those page layouts look like. So that was fun to look through.
Good.
But yeah, I was reading through these, and it was a pretty easy read because there wasn't as much dialogue as there usually is. Not that I think dialogue, a lot of dialogue is like a bad thing, It's just like with comics, you tend to read it a little faster when there's more action,
Yeah.
Right. So I know that I don't know if it's typical. I think everybody has their own different way of doing the script. I was looking at a script that we got as part of a Kickstarter. It was different. It was sort of similar format to what we were doing with this one. It was like each page had its own page or two, but this one had a lot of like links. Make it look like this. Here's a link of the image. So I don't know how much of the actual character design stuff he got involved with or not.
Yeah.
And looking at some of the characters and looking at the book, that was part of the reason we wanted to see it. It was sort of, somebody else going through the process. It was to see if, it was interesting to look at some of the characters that he said, make this person look like this actress, and you look at the character and it doesn't really look like that actress, and maybe there's one of the characters he mentions the name of somebody. And then if I look at the image, it looks like Louise Brooks from silent films. So I don't know if they changed or whatever. You don't get that sense of it, but it was a very similar, at least layout. It was just more, use these images as reference.
Yeah.
So it was.
Yeah, I suppose that's part of the process. Like, I find that often when I work with like comic writers, they're like, I want this character to look like this, and sometimes I'll have it look like that, and other times I'll kind of workshop it to the point where it doesn't look like that at all. But
Right.
as long as the writer's okay with that, then
Yeah. What happened? Like we lost her.
Keep going.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was just there was no
Okay.
sound for a sec. Sorry.
The other thing
I
that's
get thrown easy.
interesting is like comic writing styles. Like there's not really a set way to write scripts, so everyone writes them a little differently.
Yeah.
But I can tell, like, I think you guys said before that David generally writes the script and Paul is more of the helping hand, while Paul wrote this script entirely, and the font and the kerning is very different, and I find that interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it was different. It was different way of doing it.
Yeah.
So it's good. It was variety in the process.
Yeah,
What I was
the
trying to
spice of life.
what I was trying to go for with the issue was emphasizing the action a little more.
Right. I'm very wordy.
That's okay. I think it's a style.
Well, one of the things we're which we'll get to later is this BD we're working on with Artith Merrick, and part of it was we figured we could go back and sort of edit some of the dialogue and the descriptions to have it work better for down issues that happen down the road. Answer a question we came up with in issue 14. Hey, we could answer that in issue 2, that kind of stuff. So you look, and then you you do thumbnails for us. You do 2 sets of thumbnails, and then sometimes you'll drop a panel. You'll change a panel, or you add a panel, or you remove a panel, and I assume that's part of your stamp on it.
Yeah, well, I always, I just said I take that first read to get the whole gist of what I'm working with. And then at that point, I'll begin the thumbnails, and to do that, I have to read through the page again. And at that point, I might be like, this panel, this scene probably works without that panel, or like maybe I should split this scene up or combine these panels.
Right.
Yeah.
Which we're happy that you're doing that, obviously. And sometimes we say no, we want to keep the panel in. Sometimes we, go along with the change.
I try to always be cognizant of like, are they like going to be really attached to this panel, or
whenever there's a black panel, that's really attached to that. I know we had that in the last issue. Do you want to look at? So you send us what? Is it a common thing to send 2 sets of thumbnails, or is that just the racial touch, or were you taught that, or?
In comic school, I was taught that you should make at least 2 sets of thumbnails for a comic page. I've been taught even 3 sometimes, but I feel like that's way too much. But
yeah, it's a little overkill.
Yeah, maybe if I were working for Marvel, and they were paying me like $200,000 gajillion dollars, but but it's usually to help explore different shot calls, staging, panel designs, to make sure it's the best it can be.
And I know sometimes then we'll say, we do that a lot, I guess. We like panel 1 from this version, and panel 2 and 3 from here, and panel 4 from this. Like, could you change this around? We did a lot of that, I know, with this issue.
Yeah.
And then you have to sort of like Frankenstein them together, I guess. Right?
I do really like how you like different parts of the different sets of thumbnails, because it makes something new that I wouldn't have thought of before, and that's what I like about the creative process. But I know this particular set of thumbnails went through a lot of rounds of edits, at least compared to the stuff I've worked with y'all on before. But again, I think that's all part of the creative process, like you guys have an image in your mind, and I have to somehow do magic and make that on paper, and it doesn't always translate in a way where the writer is like, this is what I wanted. Sometimes you have to workshop it, and that's a part of it.
Yeah, I know that sometimes there's like images that we have in our head, and you can't find an image like that to show you. I remember there was one in one of the books where I wanted the person to put their arm like this, and I used the reference of when I was a kid, we didn't have seat belts. You came to a stop, your mother would put her arm out to try to hold you back, like that would somehow do it,
Yeah.
But there was just something they were doing, and there's no images of that, and it's like way out of date. Everybody's got seat belts now, but it was just sort of that, trying to get that, explain that image. I mean, I think I found something else unrelated that was kind of close.
Yeah, he was like still from My Hero Academia.
Yeah,
or something.
yeah.
All right, yeah, I do remember that. I think was it issue 11
Could have been.
or issue 9? I do remember this. And I feel like the modern equivalent would be like, I'll be driving in the car, and I'll make a sudden stop, and then I put my arm out to hold my purse back.
yeah, that's the modern code.
Yeah.
Because now everybody's in seatbelts. But it was just something I remembered vividly as a kid, and I wanted to have that image capture that.
Right.
And I think it's was 11 maybe.
Yeah.
I think it's issue 11. I'm not good with the issues once we're done with them, but that character was in that. Oh, great. So you want to talk a little bit about the actual? We have copies. Hopefully we can bring these up.
There we go.
All right. So this was which one you got?
Here they
Is that
are.
Yeah, that's A, the one version. Yeah, we spent a lot of time looking at these thumbnails more than we usually spend too.
Yeah.
This was a very intense session. So you send us 2 versions, and we're not going to go through each and every panel and all that. That won't be that exciting to hear. But I know that we took some from one panel, some from another. We asked for a different different point of view on a couple of them and stuff. Because I know with like the first image, you wanted to have it be more of a bird's eye view of the school.
Yeah, or
right.
closer to one.
Yeah, closer to one. Yeah. So there was a little back and forth on that. So then you sent us a second set. So you sent us 2 sets at a time. We go through them, and then try to, like, if you drop a panel in one, then we keep that dropped in the combined version or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we have to update the script accordingly because it throws off everybody when there's a panel. There's no panel here. So you finally did a third version, which is sort of a combination of the 2, A and B, right?
Yeah.
Except for we still had you do some more changes to 6, 7, and 8 because of the stairwell.
Yeah, it was hard to communicate what kind of stairwell I had in my head.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Yeah, and it was kind of weird as we remembered the stairwell from Comic-Con. I'm sure it exists other places, but I was just like, oh yeah, it's right in front of the street and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It was nice that you had that picture because, like, I would never have, like, the thing I was imagining was totally unlike it.
well, that image was taken from like Google Maps or something. And we just
Well, it worked.
snapped it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you did like for 6, 7, and 8 you did like four versions of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you make the change, sometimes it's just the panel that you're changing changes, everything else is exactly the same. So you're reusing the thumbnails, right?
Yeah. I mostly just, like, erase the part I
Okay.
need to erase.
Okay. So you're doing all this electronically, of course.
Yeah, well, like, for thumbnails, I have everything on layers. Like, I have the panel borders on its own layer, and then the art on its own layer, and then the word bubbles and the sound effects on their own layer. And in this case, I put, like, the little wind strokes on their own layer because they kind of, like, got in the way of the art and made it hard to see. Yeah.
Yeah, they were like, wow, there's a lot of wind.
Yeah. Well, I wrote a lot of wind into the script because the wind is important to
Yes,
how the
it-
Kamaitachi function.
It does play
Yes.
an important role. So do you ever, like, we give you all this feedback, do you ever go, oh, they just really screwed up, or do you ever,
Oh, no, I'm just thinking, like, I guess what I'm thinking, like, sometimes clients, they want a lot of changes, and sometimes they're like, nope, it's all good, and I'm like, are you sure? Like, you don't have to be nice to me, you can, but it's something I expect, as a part of the process.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but I mean, have we ever, like, said, here's how we want it to look, and you're like, oh, this is terrible, or anything like that?
I mean, like, have I ever, like, if you guys propose a change or something you want, and I'm like, no, that's gonna look terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
It might have been in the past when we were first starting out, but what I want more is, like, I suppose since this is a property that you guys own, so I guess part of me figures, like, if this is what you want, then I want that for you. I suppose.
No matter how bad it is. I get it. Okay.
Although I know you've said before, like if you think it looks bad, then tell us. And
Yeah.
I think I want to be better about that.
Okay. Yeah, because we want it to be a collaborative effort because we're not artists, and we need you to say, oh no, you should do this and whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can say there's too much of this or too much of that or whatever. So yeah,
Yeah.
we open that up to
But
you.
ultimately, I know this is your guys' baby, so I want you to be happy with it.
We want to be happy too, but we also want other people who read it to be happy as well.
Yeah.
Right. So
It's true. But I am like this. I think this issue is going to be really exciting. A lot of like dynamic panels, a lot of action. So I feel like all this what do you call it? This back and forth won't be worth it.
let's hope so.
Yeah.
Um, so when do you start thinking about covers?
Covers, I usually do that near the end because I'll do pages 1 through 8 of an issue 1 month, and then 9 through 16 another month, and then that third month is pages 17 through 20, and that finishes the issue. And at that point, I'll consider the cover because at that point, I know what the issue's about and how to best summarize it in that nice big illustration you see at the front.
Right. So something else I guess we should talk about is character designs,
Yeah.
because those are unlike some people, we don't send you here and we'll just whatever you send back is cool. We actually have you give us different. In this case, you gave us 3 different versions of the characters with slight changes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny, when I was reading through 19, I had the image of the Kamaitachi in my head, and then in this podcast you guys had about the issue, I saw the Yu-Gi-Oh character designs, and I was like, wait, should I be doing it more like that?
So these are actually useful.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know.
It's true. But I'm pretty excited to be drawing these cute little weasels holding like little swords.
So let's take a look at some of these cute little weasels.
Yes.
And
Alright, so there we go.
See that?
okay.
There they are.
Yeah, that's actually not the final version.
Yeah.
Mm.
Um,
Want me to go to the final version?
Sure. Well, we can talk. Oh, wait, so you did the original had number 1 having really long nails and no sword,
Yeah.
and then the other 2 had sort of one had a katana and one had a long sword, right? Right. Seeing this correctly?
Well,
One had a sai.
one of the
Scythe,
one of
one
the
had
scythe, and the other has a katana.
Right. So then we slightly changed that to they all have swords now.
Well, scythe, sword, sword,
Sorry.
and then it went to scythe, sword, short sword.
So I assume that's fairly easy to change those.
Yeah, I mostly just went over top of them and put the changes in that I needed to.
Okay. No, they're cute. I think they look really nice.
Yeah.
I keep thinking between Mocha and these, we could have like little stuffed animals.
Oh, I would love that.
Yeah.
It's funny because, these are supposed to be scary creatures, so I was trying to make them look scary, but when I look up reference of weasels, they're just so cute, and I'm
I
like,
know, right?
I can't be mad at you.
So I guess as a quick reminder to people watching, the character designs were partly influenced by
So you're holding up some cards from
Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yosenju, Kama 1, 2, and 3.
Okay. And are these from a particular deck or?
Yeah, the Yosenju archetype, which is based around the Kamaitachi, and it was actually a deck used in Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5.
Okay.
And they have a strategy of normal summoning themselves in succession and then returning to the hand.
Okay.
So it's kind of like showing up, attacking, and then riding back out on the wind.
Okay. And so that's kind of where you got some of the story idea.
Yeah, that was the origin of that.
Oh, that's good. So that was. So it's all kind of come full circle. They kind of look more like those, I guess.
Yeah, we figured it would be good if they didn't look exactly like that.
No, we don't get to see
but the influence is still there.
Okay.
Yeah. Looking at these now, I think I might make a few like small changes before I go to inks. Like maybe put like on number 2, put the hilt on the other side, or what is it? The sheath on the other side, because like I want to be a little bit more different from number 3, you know.
So yeah, and then very good. Yeah, we trust you to make those kind of changes.
Yeah, and I guess with number 1, I meant to take out that neck bandana, because before he didn't have any clothing. I didn't want him to be naked, but now he has clothing, so it's like he doesn't need that anymore. It's gonna be hot. It's in California.
We've never said where it actually takes place, but okay.
That's true.
Now, San Ramiro makes you think California, but it could be anywhere, like Pennsylvania. I mean, I doubt that.
It's like Springfield.
It's true.
What?
It's like Springfield.
Yeah.
True.
I don't think there's any San Ramiros anywhere, though, but anyway. Okay, so we have, so I think what we'd like to do is when you do somewhere down the road on these first issues, whether it's the pencils or the inks, is maybe talk about that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So another project that we're working on is this. They call it BD.
Yeah.
For Artith Merrick. They're going to do a Kickstarter, sort of for us in mid to late September.
Yeah.
And we need to come up with a new cover for that.
Yeah.
That's not. We're trying not to reuse anything we've already done, and we've gone through a lot of different ideas on kind of where we want to go with it.
Right.
And so one of the things we've talked about is we're trying to move it away from. You want it to be more like a sort of a feel of the comic as opposed to, right?
Yeah. Having the issue. Yeah, having the cover be something that kind of summarizes the feeling of the issues within, while also giving a good idea of what you can expect in it. Should we show the covers?
Yeah.
Right. So another part of this process
is covers.
Yeah.
This is another challenging set of thumbnails, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because I'll tell the truth. Sometimes I struggle with covers because I'm trying to come up with a unique composition and just stage the characters in a way that's interesting. Just make it both interesting and new and poppy. And sometimes I just have to really sit on it to come up with something that I enjoy, something that I think will be good.
Right. So we went through several. I mean, we're trying to avoid kind of redoing a cover. I mean, originally the idea was we might redo issue number 1's cover
or number 3's cover.
Or number 3, and we decided that we really wanted it to be sort of fresh and not be a kind of a repeat of those. So we've kind of gone through. We're up to can't letter that fast, but you're up to K or L or something like that in these thumbnails.
Yeah.
And so we, because we're doing this I guess I'll say not for, but in conjunction with Artith Merrick, we wanted them to have some sort of,
input.
Input, that's the word. And so we kind of went through A through D and E through H, and then we sent them the I through L. There you go. There's the alphabet. That tricky little devil called letters. So I guess we're leaning. I guess the three of us are leaning towards K,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I remember when I was making these specifically, I came up with the idea for K, that one on the lower left, and I was like, yes, this is the one. This is a strong one. I'm really into this, and I hope they like it too. And then I got the email that said they liked that one, and I'm like, yes, I was right.
Yeah, he was leaning towards I, but we're gonna go with K.
Mm,
He seemed like both were good, but but this is our book, not his, right?
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So we're gonna go with.
it's my birthday, and I'll cry if I want to.
There you go. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Um, I said there's something about like having the logo in the middle as opposed to up top that just kind of exciting, you know?
Yeah. So and I guess we'll see where they will actually want to put the. They may have a place they want to put the logo.
Yeah.
And they may, I don't know how uniform they're trying to make all these look. And then I asked them. They have not asked us about a back cover. So we need to come up with something. And I was using the Dirk Brody. You can't really see very well. That's the back cover of that book, and I thought maybe that would be something we should at least be kind of aware of, at least. Something
Yeah.
that's more kind of I don't know. Again, I don't know, since I haven't actually read this yet, if this is a summation of the story or just a really cool image from it, or
Right.
if it's not in the book at all. We should come up with something that's more of a back cover as well.
I'm thinking something chill, I suppose, like an anime ending.
Yeah, maybe that would work. Since, I remember with the last batch of covers, I brought up My Hero Academia for.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember when you showed me those, or like when you at least brought up the concept. I went and looked at those, and I found them quite helpful.
So maybe something kind of like that for the back.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's definitely an idea.
Yeah. So again, my goal would be to have all this wrapped up by the end of August. Because I don't want to be if they're trying to do this, then and maybe that gives us a little time because they want to do it in the middle or late September. If there's some issue, then we have a little time. And then of course, as we know with Kickstarters, I like to have them done before we do it, but a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's going to be any other artwork they're going to want or whatever. I don't know what else, you know what I mean? A lot of times with tiers, there's other things, so we'd have to talk about that once that comes up.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I just had an idea. You know how some books in the back they'll have like a summary of what's inside or like something to draw you in,
Yeah.
like like a block of text. Like maybe that's something that's an option, and we can have like Marty and Eli just kind of up here and like surrounding the text. That would be cute, considering you want to write that.
Oh. Well, again, I think we should come up with some concepts and at least show it to them, and then go with what
Yeah.
I mean, again, I kind of feel like we're doing this in conjunction with them, and I don't want them to be like, "Oh, this is horrible."
Right.
We're not doing this.
Copy. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea of like the front is like what the opening of the anime, and then the back is the ending of the anime.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's also, I mean, is it? I know you're doing covers for artwork that you did not draw. Is that weird at all for you?
I don't think so. In fact, I think in comics that's pretty common, right? They get like a guest artist to do a special cover that helps sell the issue, you know?
Right. Okay.
So I don't think it's weird at all.
Okay. I just, since you do all the covers for the
Right.
art, so you're saying we should get guest artists. Okay. No.
Not always, but you know, it's certainly not unusual.
I've noticed with Kickstarters, they'll have like 4 or 5 or 50 variant covers you can choose from.
Yeah.
You know, and all these different artists that you've maybe have heard of, maybe you haven't, do do all these variants and stuff.
Yeah.
We're not really that much into variant covers
Yet.
yet. Yeah. We're
I don't know if y'all have ever read Snot Girl by Brian Lee O'Malley.
I've seen Snot Girl.
I enjoy it quite a bit, but it's written by Brian Lee O'Malley, the guy that did Scott Pilgrim, which is, it's a very specific style.
Yeah.
And I'm blanking on the artist right now. I feel terrible.
Same.
But her art style is very different from Brian Lee O'Malley's style. But sometimes there'll be variant covers done by O'Malley, and the style is just so different. It's kind of jarring.
Yeah.
Well, this one Kickstarter that we backed, just again the guy that was doing the script and the pencils and all that stuff, just to see how somebody else did it, and is that something we could also provide? That was part of it too.
Yeah.
Not that anybody's asked, but just in case. He has draw you into. You can have a cover where you're drawn into the cover, as a variant for yourself, and then you could be drawn into the book, and I just I want it to be done. Don't worry about this guy. But, you know what I mean. I don't have to go back and draw somebody else into it or whatever. And then some of the covers have nothing at all to do with the story. They're Magnum PI and
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, it's all these I guess there's people that collect that stuff, but
Yeah.
it's just
Oh yeah, absolutely.
it just seems kind of over the top. So we should think of variant covers we could do for
Yeah.
our stuff.
I've been informed.
Gotta
that-
collect them all.
I've been informed that the Snot Girl artist was Leslie Hung.
Leslie Hung. I really do love her art.
It's nice to have a researcher on staff. Thank you, Charlie. So basically, we have some projects to work on here.
Yeah.
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 So, and we are expecting your best work in the next.
I'll try my best.
Okay. Well, we'll probably have you again. We'd like to have you back on when we're a little further into the issue and talk, maybe these 8 pages when they're inked.
Yeah.
Come back and talk about that, so people get an idea. And then whenever Julia starts coloring, we'll bring her in and talk about the coloring process and things like that. So the idea is to sort of make this a series of shows about the putting together of a comic book.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Sorry, my face is disgusting.
And then I guess we're 4 away now from, or is this 96?
Yeah.
We're 4 away from our 100th
Yeah.
show. That's coming up.
Whoa. Are you going to celebrate?
We have no idea what we're doing.
Yeah.
So if you think of something, that'd be great. But
I don't know if we should do something serious or do what Mega 64 does, where every 100 is a joke.
So yeah, we're coming up on that, just in case people are watching and wondering. Anyway, so thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Okay.
If you are watching this on YouTube and you like this kind of thing, be sure to subscribe, and ring that bell.
All right. So until next time, I'm David Hankins.
I'm Paul Hankins.
And I'm Rachel Wells.
And we've been on the air with Power Squared.